Hello, and welcome to my front room. This is my front room's magic SUV. Magic because it doesn't matter how many people get on. There's always an extra seat. And it's magic because if you do get on board, and I mean if you really get on board, then you get to look out the magic SUV's magic windows. And you will see exactly what I'm describing. You will go back to old Lakeview. And that's a promise from me in the magic SUV. But remember, you have to get on board. You really have to get on board, because we can take you there. Now, before we start this episode 1, we'll go over a few things. Like, what is the front room? The front room is how we say front room. So if you say front room over and over, you're probably already saying front room, aren't you? Can of corn. Now, I'm honored to introduce myself to you by my first two names, because when I was a kid, and this is the time that I'm talking about, the 60s and 70s, my ma called me by my first two names. So it's very special to me. And if anybody refers to me by my first two names, I just see it as honoring my mother. So it's wonderful to meet you. I will be your storyteller. I will take you back to old Lakeview. I will do it in several episodes. My name is Jess Patrick. And this is episode 1. And it's called The Kings of Clark Street. So go back in time with me now to circa 1969. Lakeview is a working class neighborhood. There are parts of Lakeview that are more industrial than they are residential. Okay. And one of my favorite memories is the old coal train that ran right through the heart of Lakeview. Ran from just south of Fullerton to just north of Wrigley. As it was northbound, it would come from right beside the Cubby Bear, and if you notice, the Cubby Bear is built on an angle. All the buildings were built on an angle because the railroad tracks went on an angle, a northeast angle or southwest, depending which way the train was going. It would cross Addison, and it would stop on Clark Street right in front of Wrigley Field. So if you were a kid back in the 60s, you could hop the train to Wrigley just like we did. This was a big, heavy train full of coal. It didn't move very fast, but the kids would hop it anyway because it was just fun to hop a train to Wrigley. And here's really where the Kings of Clark Street really kicks in. You see, none of us could afford to go to the game. I'm the 7th of 8 kids. The cheapest ticket at Wrigley is 75-cent bleacher seat. But my parents didn't have money to just throw away. You kidding me? Nobody's parents did. But that was okay. You want to know why? Because we got into Wrigley for free. That's right. I didn't pay to go to Wrigley Field from about 1968 to 1975. Not one game. You see, all the kids would go under the third base stands after the game. And there was a little engineer's room. And we'd all line up, man. Sometimes we'd get in a fight right in the line. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Well, the engineers would pass out potato sacks. And they only had a certain amount of potato sacks. After the potato sacks were gone, the rest of the kids had to be seat flippers. Nobody wanted to be a seat flipper because the garbage kids could pick up garbage in 10 minutes. They could have that potato sack full in 10 minutes, go and get their general admission grandstand ticket for the next day and go home, be playing baseball on the corner before the seat flippers were even done. You know, the seat flippers had to wait till all the potato sacks were passed out, and then an engineer would stand in front of, maybe watch each section or each two sections, and the seat flippers would have to come and start in the first row, second row, third row, all the way up and flip all the seats up. So, you know, that's why kids would try to cut in line, and that's why sometimes there would be little tussles, you know. But, I mean, back in the 60s and 70s, it was normal for a kid to get in fights, but like it was a different world, you know. Like I might hit my best friend because he did something, but we're still friends. He can still sleep over tonight, and he can still have half my sandwich at lunchtime, you know. So it's just a different world. We got in for free. We didn't have any money. My mom would make a sandwich. I'd put it in my back pocket. It'd be flat as a board, but all the peanut butter and jelly stayed in the sandwich bag, so I could still eat it. Now, you know, as I said, we were poor kids from poor families. And so we had our ways of getting stuff that we couldn't afford. Back then, everybody in the stands had a scorecard and a little pencil that they bought at the front gates, right? And the scorecard guys, they were World War II veterans, you know. They lived at the YMCA. They had dirty gym shoes on, dirty jeans, you know, and pipe or cigar in their mouth, you know. They showed up at Wrigley every day and they sold the scorecards and they went home, you know. That was it. So, but we couldn't afford a scorecard or the pencil, you know, even when they were a nickel. So we developed ways to get things without any money. And this is how we got free scorecards and free pencils. See, a couple of us would cause commotion over on the left. And as soon as we got their attention, two of us would run across the other way and grab the scorecards and pencils. And then we'd all meet up in the stands somewhere where we said that we'd meet, you know. Now, the scorecard guys, you know, they got to know our crew. So, like, we would have to recruit other kids, you know. And sometimes, I mean, I look back, sometimes we weren't very nice, you know. Not always, but sometimes, like, we'd have to talk a kid into it, you know. And kids would be afraid, I don't want to, you know. We'd be like, you're doing it, you know. We'd kind of give them no choice. We'd kind of make them. We'd, you know, push them around a little if we had to. And as long as we got someone that they didn't know, we could still do it, you know. The other way was just wait until it was really crowded and a lot of people were in line to get a scorecard, and then you sneak up behind them, duck down real low, and you grab and go, you know. Either way, you're going to get hollered at. You just got to keep running and kind of just don't show your face to that guy for a little while, you know? Because, I mean, a face is a face. he's going to forget in a couple days. And then it's all over. You could start all over again. Now, yeah, my mom made a sandwich and I put it in my back pocket. But our goal wasn't to eat the food we brought from home. Our goal was to get free food. And we did. And it was kind of the same way, you know. Like, we'd check you out, you'd be there with your family. We'd say, oh, hey, man, they got peanuts. Shit, they got popcorn, couple drinks. This dude just put a hot dog down, he hasn't even touched it. So we'd act like we got in a fight, you know. Two of us would go on, like, say, your left or right in front of you, in an aisle in front of you. And we'd start pushing each other and get in a fight, you know. And people their eyes would be all on that fight. And the same thing, two of us would run by and grab everything we could, you know. And people would be like, hey, you damn kids. And we would just run, you know. We'd go down, go around, and come up on the other side of the field, you know, and sit there and watch the game, you know. I mean, I didn't get in trouble with the law as an adult, really. But when I was a little poor kid, we had our ways, you know. We also stole pop bottles from the corner stores, you know. Back in those days, there were no cans, there were no plastic, it was all bottles, and you returned the bottles, you know, and we'd bring them in the front door and wait till the storekeeper put them out behind the store, and then we'd take them from there and bring them to the next store. You know, none of this was a perfect science, and there were times we got caught, you know. But when you're a kid, especially back then, and you get caught, you basically just run, you know, and you might be scared, but pretty soon you're laughing, you know, because it's funny. But probably my best memory from being a garbage kid is the deal that we cut with the Andy frame. See, you're not only a kid in there who's only in there because the Cubs have this free program, right? You're also a kid now looking at the empty box seats that are in front of you. And of course, you want to sit in those box seats, right? And see, this happened after the 69 season. I can't really talk about it much because it hurts, but if anybody remembers the 69 season, they know what happened. And the 69 Cubs were the greatest team to never win a pennant. But anyway, after that, the season ticket holders were MIA. They were just missing in action. So here we are, bunch of garbage kids, right? We already feel like we're the kings, right? I mean, you suckers paid, we didn't pay. Now we're going to make our way into the box seats because the season ticket holders, I mean, they stayed away for 3-4 years before the 70s were Wrigley was empty a lot of times, 3,000, 4,000 people, you know. So, I mean, we would sit there and we would bug the hell out of the Andy Frame, you know. Listen, we'd be like this. Come on, let us just sit there, come on. So finally, the Andy Frame cut a deal with us. If the season ticket holders didn't show up by the top of the third inning, we got to go sit in the box seats. But even after that happened, I mean, that was great. We'd still try to get in there before the top of the third inning, you know. So we'd sit there giving them the business, you know. Come on, please, come on, please. You'd say, look, They're bigger than us, man. They're going to clobber us. We ain't going to have a chance. If you let us all in at the same time, they're going to kick us right out of the best seats. We want to sit by the dugout, too. So the Andy Frayne would let us, once in a while, the little guys, go in right before they let the rest of the other little kids. And they wouldn't let the big kids kick us out. So, here you have it. Bunch of kids in the 60s. They're only there because the Cubs have a free program that allows them to be there. And now, we're sitting in the box seats. I'm sitting right next to the box seat. Who's ever in the on-deck circle? Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Kessinger, Beckert, Sano. It doesn't matter. You can talk to them. Who's ever warming up? Ferguson, Russell. It didn't matter. They would talk to you. They liked you. They liked the garbage kids because we loved them. And it's a memory that I'll take with me forever. And even after the game, and all the garbage kids ran home, we'd play baseball right on the corner. Like, baseball was our whole world. And going to the game, getting in for free, picking up garbage, having that ticket for the next day, going home, playing baseball, using the sewers for bases. And someone always had a transistor, so if you weren't at the game and you could hear what was going on, and if the crowd roared, we could hear the crowd inside in my front room, so it was a baseball neighborhood. Kids played baseball on every corner, on every block. There were so many kids. All the grade schools had mobile homes in the playgrounds. You kidding me? Hawthorne, Burley, Nettlehorse, everyone, Jan, every grade school and high school. Hawthorne had 6 mobile homes. First and second grade, you attended in the mobile homes. So having a program for kids, allowing kids who could never ever go to the game to go there, to have the time of their lives, to maybe even get a few free snacks, and to talk to players and get autographs, which I still have today. Could it be any better? Not to us. And you see, that's why we were the Kings of Clark Street. And I hope you enjoyed episode 1. Episode 2 will come out next week, and it's called The Sights, Sounds, and Smells of Lakeview. And I will take you back. And even if you live in Lakeview today, I will take you back to an entirely different place that I just know that you will fall in love with. And I thank you. My family thanks you. My children thanks you. And my ma thanks you for listening and giving us a little bit of your time. And we hope to see you for episode 2. Thank you, and have a wonderful Chicago day.